And boom, just like that, we're live. Okay, I'm going to try and share this out real quick, and then we'll take care of business. And the special whining noise you can hear, that's my wife. She loves, whoa, look at that screen. She loves to blow the leaves out of the house. Don't ask me how the leaves get in the house. We have these sliding doors, and we tend to, it's really not much better, is it? And we tend to leave the doors open during the day, and of course, crap stuff blows in and makes a huge mess. So the whining noise you can hear is the electric leaf blower. It's awesome. 100% professional here and pay to play. Not. Right. So, Mike, good to see you. Yeah, you probably did all of it in one shot. I'm not doing it all in one shot, man. I'll be taking my time on this bad boy. Why am I so zoomed in? What is going on? Well, woo, hey now. I guess that's as good as it can. Really having challenges with the phone's a little sensitive. All right, so which one do you want to do first? I think next war Vietnam. I kind of want to have a look at this because I've been anticipating it and I know the least about it. So that would be cool. So let's get the shrimp rippage off. And just so you guys know, not next week. I think it's the 22nd of November, but I'll post a link and some details on my blog at some point. But I'll be hosting a live session, BGG at home. We've got one of the slots there, and I'll be interviewing Mitchell Land and Fabrizio from Vianello from the Thin Red Line games, talking about the resurgence or the rise of interest in modern warfare titles. And I thought that might be a fun title to do. The good news is if you do participate in that live session, it only goes for an hour or 45 minutes, something like that. You got to pay to participate. It's not very expensive. And I think $1 from your whatever fee it is you pay goes towards the USS Texas, which is kind of cool. So that's the main reason why I'm doing it, is to support the USS Texas. I receive no compensation or money or attaboys or anything like that for doing it. Just chipping in to be a good corporate citizen. And there you go. All right, so that's that. So we'll get into a little bit more about that later on next couple of days. So this is another, it's one of those classic what ifs, right? Where we have both a tactical map and we're going to have a strategic map as well for naval movement. And this is going to be able to be linked, I believe. Oh, I didn't know Ralph Shelton was involved. Well, that just ruins this whole game. No, just kidding. Hey, Ralph. Love you, man. Kibler did the artwork with Simonich. That's a power teaming right there. So you guys can read this just as easily as I can if I hold still long enough. Medium complexity. You play the advanced game. It's right up there in terms of bits and pieces you need to keep track of for this game. Lots of little rules and mechanics and bits and pieces in the game for the air war and for special forces. Excuse me, and for cruise missiles and the naval warfare stuff and detection. But if you want what I think is interesting and fun and highly thematic modern warfare system, this is probably your go-to guy, this system. I wonder if she's ever going to finish blowing those freaking leaves. Anyway, I told her I was going to be online. I think it's payback for something. I got 2 boxes of games today, so I'm paying the price now. So the box is chock-a-block full. Well, that's probably a bad sign. No room. Is there going to be room for a counter tray? We'll see. Game-specific rules clock in at 32, including. I'm going to get my water. Hang in there. I'll be right with you. Solo's great, Max. I just had to get my water. I was eating peanuts before I got online. And I'm more than a little dry, and I think I have a piece of peanut stuck in my throat. So if the broadcast ends all of a sudden, you'll know why. Let's see. Let's have a look at this, because this, like I said, I know very little about this. Chinese Airborne, that's going to be awesome. Laos, invasions in jungle terrain, very cool. Hardened targets. PSDF, what is that? The People's Self-Defense Force. Jolly good. All right. And I love the new rule books that GMT are doing with this soft satin finish and just regular paper, so that, you know, if you do want to write in on your rules or make notes or include or add the errata that will inevitably appear in GMT games, you know, you can do that without all the shiny silky paper nonsense. Okay, strategic display. Then all those special rules for strategic display. I wonder if, okay, so only 3 attempts for electronic detection. And this is where it's going to get interesting with this game. If you played Korea, Taiwan, and this together, which I think you can do, I may be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to probably check before I go shoot my mouth off. I'm pretty sure I saw in the scenario rules somewhere, when I was looking at my buddy's copy, that you can link these, and then you've got to choose, you know, where the U.S. intervention occurs, and that can escalate or de-escalate situations in the game, in this game and in the other titles if you're linking them all up. So this is more than enough of a game for me just to play by itself. But if you did want to explore the multi-map extravaganza of linking all 3 together, I think that would be kind of fun. I'm just going to put live chat up. I'm not sure. Oh, Mitchell Land, look who's here. Look in the back of that book. Yeah, I haven't got to it yet. I'm just spoiling the fun there, Mitchell. Relax. So I'm interested. Yeah, look, there's a lot of different forces that will be coalition or willing forces that will be involved in this. This is going to be kind of cool. And then in the back here somewhere with all these scenarios, so you've got your strategic surprise, tactical surprise scenarios, no doubt. In the advanced, here we go. The Second Korean War, South China Sea War. The different intervention levels are discussed here. Orders of battle. The Filipinos get a nod. The Thailand level. I want a T-shirt that says the Thailand level and the Malaysia level. All right, before the game begins, here it is. Here, I think this is what I was looking at the other day. But after the Allied player reveals the US intervention level, and after assigning the VP award for that, the PRC player may widen the conflict before the game begins by encouraging and assisting North Korean invasion of South Korea. Doing so will affect the schedule of the US reinforcements. Each reinforcements box. Yeah, did I just choke on a peanut? I'm back. Here we go. Stupid fucking thing. This is not for children, so I can swear as much as I damn well please. Where were we? That's right, Master Ally Reinforcement chart. If the Ally player rolls less than or equal to this number, the reinforcements listed are diverted to Korea. Oh, that's going to be sweet. And do not enter the game. Otherwise, they're available for use in Vietnam within restrictions listed, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Ally player may modify the die roll by expending victory points. Sweet baby Jesus, there you go. The Ally player can make the determination to spend the VPs in this manner after seeing the die roll. Ah, nice. And then the same sort of thing will happen here. Yeah, really. Don't say anything about anything to do with the things that happened last week. Right, here we go. More stuff with the die rolls for the Philippines, the Malaysians, and all that sort of goodness. It's all in here. Bags and bags of fun. And look, we've got people with foreign faces. Love it. We have jets. Why have I got picture in picture? Oh, God. Can you guys see the video, for goodness sake? I hope it can. Someone comment or something. Someone say something. Because I'm seeing... Oh, I bet you I'm playing it. Hang on. Can I get rid of this? Okay. Am I back? Okay, good. We'll keep going. So standard advanced rules. If you have never seen the rule book or the rules before, here now, there's 48 pages of it, and it's not easy, but it's worth it. All right. There's a good index in the back. So, smart guys are going to work it out. And if you really want to get into it, this is the one to do. It's not that hard, I don't find, as long as you take your time and are patient with the system and get to know it a little bit, play a standard scenario first. I still foobar things up all the time in this game, and I'd be the first person to admit that. I am not comfortable with the naval rules yet because I've only played them in the Poland game, but I still like it, and I'm going to be digging in deep on this early in the new year, or perhaps around Christmas time, depending on how my time is. There she goes with the freaking thing again. All right, what am I looking at here? Oh, okay, so this looks like a chart just to help you not be as completely lost as I usually am. And there's your rules. This game system to me, I forget, what is it? It reminds me of, so I know it's an enhancement of the Next War system that came from GMT earlier on, but that game really had its roots in the GDW, I believe anyway, the Third World War series, with the effectiveness ratings or the efficiency ratings of units, and then column shifts for odds, and then also DRMs for the impact of different unit types and things of that nature. So it's really got a fundamentally basic system here, then has the layers of the air war, which can add a little bit of time, but can also give you lots of flavor. And then you also have, all the cruise missiles and special forces and all sorts of groovy stuff. All right, so there's that. All right, let's have a look at the map, because, maps are cool. All right. So when you look at this, not a huge area to fight over, and I'm going to guess this is going to be the critical stuff right here. Capture of geographical locations, i.e. Hanoi, right there in the center screen. Lots of jungle and funky terrain, and you've got entry areas at the top. But no Next War game is complete without the strategic map, which makes it a two-map game, really. And here we go. Holy cow. Okay, so this is interesting because it's got the inset map for South China Sea, the Straits, and all of that. We've even got Japan over here on the right-hand side. And so that's your operational map, where you're going to be having what will probably end up being, we'll have a look at the counters in a minute, fairly substantial naval conflict here. And then instead of having a separate chart for the air superiority missions or tacking it on to the edge of the gameplay map, and I think that's really a smart idea, because that really gives this a nice, I'm immersed in the game, and I like that. I think that is going to add a lot of thematic value to the gameplay. And then, of course, you've got all your ready ups for the different forces here, for the, I don't know what we're going to call them, the enemy or alternate factions, and then some tracks, because you've got to have tracks for stuff, sub-threat levels, and AWACS advantage, and air defense tracks, and all that sort of goodness. And if you're a decent OCD type player, you'll use this little track here to keep a list of the stage you're at, right? Got your VPs on the right-hand side there. First time I played one of these games, there was a little victory points schedule on the map, and it was kind of sort of in the center. And I think that might have been the Poland game. And I couldn't find it. The last couple of games I played was somewhere else in the rules or something like that. or on a chart somewhere, and I couldn't find the victory points, and I got a little frustrated. Shit happens. All right, counters. Holy wow, there's a lot of counter sheets. How many? I have good news about the box too. I'm feeling something in here that tells me that it's not as full as we would think. How many counter sheets are there? 9 player raids. 4 counter sheets. Wow. All right. Groovy. Let's check this. Okay. So first of all, thickness, glorious GMT, good quality, high thickness. These all look like they're very well set. Here's our PRC. I'll let you get in there as close as I can. You'll probably recognize some of these forces if you've played Next War India-Pakistan, or of course the Next War Korea and Taiwan. I don't own Taiwan. I have it on pre-order. Was never really interested, and I regret not getting it, but now I'll get the super duper second edition. And then, the good old 101st and the 82nd, they're in every module. So you've got that going for you. And then the Marines and 3rd MEF. I don't know if you can see that or not, but hopefully you can. Oh, are we blurry? I'm sorry, guys. Is this any better? You know what? Too bad. Sorry. And we'll have a look at the back of the counters in a minute. Oh, here we go. So I missed naval units. So we've got CVNs, subs, excuse me, amphibious units. This is nowhere near half as much fun when you're not drinking. The units on the back. Some of them, which obviously HQs have bridging functions. Yeah, it might be your browser, or you can downscale on the browser as well. There's a button to click to change the resolution, but that could also be my feed. Let me just check and make sure that I'm not off. I'm on my 5G connection in the house. So let's turn Bluetooth off. There we go. All right. So I forget which sheet I showed. I think I showed you that one, and then I was going to show you this one. Okay, so we've got BrahMos batteries. Cool. I don't know what they are. We've got the Malaysian forces, the Filipinos here, and Thai and Viet. These are Vietnamese info counters and helos and good fun stuff. All that. I'm sorry if it's a little fuzzy there. All right. Asian aircraft, etc. Control areas, the dreaded clearing. Oh man, I hate those things. Clearing chits, because once you capture a city, once you drive the enemy out of the city, it is not just yours. You then have to basically subdue it, which means you've got to put one of these clearing chits on it, which is a random number between 1 and 6 here. And then you have to have the appropriate mix of infantry and potentially armor and other factors that's going to influence your die roll. And you're going to need to roll, I forget whether it's either higher or lower. I think it's higher than the number on the chit to clear it and then allow you to trace supply through it and stuff like that. Did I do that good, Mitch? So there's that. So there's the 4 counter sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, then we have. Okay, this is all the standard game stuff, so nobody cares about that. Some advanced charts for seat controls. You got to roll for seat control every turn. Clearing operations. That's that thing I was just telling you about. A nice strike effects table, because this can often get a little confusing when you're putting disruptions in 1 hit or 2 hit on things, or destroying things, depending on the type of unit that you're striking. There's a reinforcement chart on the back of that strike effects table. Very nice. Line of command, line of communication. Yeah, that's just all straightforward. You won't need that after a while. Standard sequence play. Air defense resolution chart. There we go, the advanced sequence of play. The cool thing about this game and this game system is that if you have initiative, you basically get an extra half a turn almost in here. You're going to get two opportunities to do strikes, 2 opportunities to conduct special forces ops and cruise missile strikes and things of that nature, and then in a second move as well. See the initiative, move, and combat phase, and then all this stuff happens in the initiative turn, and then you go to reorg, and then you'll conduct the regular, here we go, the basic movement and combat phase. All very groovy. Terrain effects chart, 2 of those for everybody. Of course, got to have one of these for. See, I although they're large, I would almost want to have one for each side for these, because it gets kind of this gets kind of cluttered. And then you've got all the advanced game tables, so your raids, which there are many and different types of raids. We're not going to get into all that goodness right now. I guess all I'm really showing you is glare. My apologies. I probably should be looking at the screen so I can see what you're seeing, but I'm not. Air defense, air combat, advanced strikes, detection. You've got to find something before you can shoot it, which is always fun. Damage. When you hit it, hit an air base, you've got all sorts of nifty things that happen there. You can lose aircraft, or you can lose capacity. Another set of advanced charts. And then here's the good news, right? So get a couple of D10s. Unfortunately, they're both the same color, but no one's complaining about that. And then there's a little insert in here that you can promptly take out, and it looks very cool. I really would like to keep it, but we're not going to do that because we're going to need room for a counter tray in here and all the other goodies. And as you will see, once we put the 2 rule books in here. And I will say one thing about what I've found lately, and I think it might be my game room, but these satin finish kind of shinier maps, I'm not a huge fan of them necessarily. They look really good when they're down, but for some reason it seems to be mainly the GMT maps. But they're kind of adhering to my table, and this is an older dining room table that we moved downstairs for me, and I've had to start putting Plex both on top and underneath my maps, which when we get to bigger games is going to be a challenge. So I guess that is what it is, right? All right. Let's see. All right. Okay. Am I missing anything? Seeing anything? All right. Here we go. Yeah. No. There's no spilled scotch, my friend. First of all, don't drink scotch. But nice try. That goes there. Now let's have a look at this guy. Time for Trumpets. I had the great fortune to meet Bruno at a con, and he super sweet man. Very interesting and entertaining. And I did an interview. You can go find it on the YouTube channel. It's called the Designer Deep Dive with Bruno how do you pronounce his name? Sinigaglio, Sinigaglio, whatever it is. But Bruno is an awesome dude, and he spent a lot of time talking to me both on the recording and off the recording. And then we played Time for Trumpets. We had 4 players, and we got through probably 2 days of gameplay or more. I was at a con, so I wasn't doing it the whole time, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now, the trick was I had received, this is all pre-publication and all the rest of it, right? So I received a draft of the rules, and there's a lot of rules in this, and I'm very keen to dig into this box in just a second. Look at that artwork. That's freaking awesome. The snow, the plane, the Sherman's on the front there. That's so cool. So evocative. Anyway, lots of chrome in this thing from what I remember. And I'm going to be very interested to see how it all kind of plays out. Yeah, and I would say, let's see, this is interesting. See what it says here. It incorporates a number of systems or concepts from two of the highly playable games on the subject matter: Bitterwoods by the Avalon Hill Company and the iconic Wacht am Rhein from SBI. Felt more like Bitterwoods than Wacht am Rhein to me. That is what it is. 6 hours of game time per turn. Lots to dig into on this. 2,300 counters. It's off the chain. Yeah, 64 pages. That's what it was roughly last time. And 46-page play aid book. Oh, crap. And a 60-page scenario book. But we're going to get into that in a second. I'm curious to see here. If I put this like this, hopefully you can see a little bit of it. So now, by the way, I'm gonna be taking my time here with this. I'm not going to try and rush through it too much. So if you get bored, by all means, leave. But we're just going to hang out and check this out a little bit, unless I get interrupted by my wife. Let's see. Maps, roads, forest. So here's something, and then this is, so let me preface everything by saying I feel like this is kind of like the swan song of Bulge games for Bruno. This is everything he wanted a Bulge game to be. He's put a labor of love into this. So the fact that just as I read this, I'm being taken back to some of his commentary where we're talking about the forest, and I'll read this to you. He says, the trees will maintain a geometric pattern in managed areas, right? And the growth of the underbrush and saplings were curtailed. The management permitted systemized harvesting wood, and forests possessed an abundance of logging trails. Originally, the Time for Trumpets draft maps had two types of forest terrain, consisting of managed forest and rough forest. For simplicity, the two types were distilled into forest. Traveling through forest is slow, and most vehicles are road-bound. Terrain affords a defensive benefit of close combat, yada, yada, yada. Here's the interesting thing, though, right? So he knows about the harvesting and structure of the forests in the area. That's how into it this guy is. I don't know if you guys know, but he is or was a weapons tester for the U.S. The U.S. military at one point. I think he's retired now. Woods represent lightly wooded terrain with areas of cleared space and abundance of thoroughfares. And then there's clear terrain, broken terrain, a whole wide range of different terrain areas, types that we will be able to dig into. List of rules. So let's just have a look here. Now, when you're playing with him, you get to kind of skim through all this because you don't have to pay too much attention. But I do recall that chains of command and the mutual command segment were pretty important, as was supply. And then, yeah, keeping track of all your different headquarters and whether they're being proactive or passive is important as well. And then, of course, all your bridge construction and it just goes on and on. There's a lot of detail in here. So this is going to be some work to get through, right? This is going to be a labor of love to play it. I'm okay with that. Nice paper once again on the rule books. Details on the aircraft are pretty significant, I believe. I'll have to check the aircraft ratings. Someone had asked me about that a long time ago, but I haven't really looked into it since then. Yeah, every little piece of nuanced history that you may know, want to know, or don't want to know is probably in here. And I think this is why the scenario book is 60 pages long, because it's going to have a lot of background detail on what's going on in the different scenarios potentially. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, lots of detail in here. All the different armored fighting vehicles, of course. Anti-aircraft. And it looks like the rules are laid out in play order, sequence of play order, which is nice. It was pretty powerful in this game, if I recall, once it became available. Okay, so you can see that this goes on to a fair level of detail, and I don't recall, I don't think we got to the point where we were using or playing with the supply dumps, but I think I was playing the Allies, and we got to conduct a little counterattack somewhere near the supply dumps, if I recall correctly. So that was a little bit of fun. Let's see what's going on with the chat. Yeah, Greg, I may get started on clipping it tonight. Who knows? I'll have to work out what we need to get the scenario set up. I'm going to have to read the rules first anyway. This is, ideally, I'd like to get this started on or around the start of the Bulge and kind of play through, and we'll see how long it takes, right? All right, so look, yeah. Nice layout. This is a kind of a funky, thick font choice, but it certainly pops out when it's got a black background here like this. And look at all these step losses that you can take potentially. That's going to be interesting. German Army boundaries, reinforcements. All right, so this is, we're up there. Here we go. Movement across water or waters. Unbridged, river fords, bridge bottlenecks in the advanced game. Oh, great, there's a basic and advanced game. Just what we need to know. Bridge crossing point, costs, HQ movement. Yeah, I'm just going to geek out on this. This is going to be excellent. Night combat advantage for the Germans. Artillery combat basics, just in case you're wondering. Look at all that action. Oh, it's so exciting. Just peed myself, it's so good. All right, combat results. Enhanced AFV combat, Blitzkrieg 44 stuff. Oh, okay, look at this. And then examples of play. Here we go. That's going to be cool. You know, I'll probably read some of these. I'm not a big fan of reading through the examples of play. I like to just set it up and play it, but I may actually take some time and do that with some counters on a map and follow along. Look at the detail there. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be some work. Principles of the design. The following goals were established for the design of this game. Make the game easy to play, all 60 pages of it, but still retain the capabilities of the homogeneous battalions to perform their mission functions. Include all combat arms in a complete order of battle as possible, along with an accurate order of appearance. Introduce combat air functions that require more consideration than usually required in a Battle of the Bulge game. Reproduce the flow of the battle with a game that provides an illusion of history, but with a chance to affect the outcome. Yeah, and that probably sums up his thinking on all of this as well. Very nice. Yeah, variable zones of control on this as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh, very nice. to Charlie Kibble for putting up with my requests and for pita sandwiches. All right, there you go. So that's that. Let's have a look at the play aid book. The charts, I'm guessing, is what this is, perhaps. I don't know. No? Random events in 7A. Yeah, this is where it's going to get interesting. He incorporates a lot of the historical events that occurred. Let's see if I can do this. Let me just fold this over like this. We'll just look at one of these here. Oh, how visible that is. Yeah, this is good stuff. All these little different event descriptions, and then you've got random events occur below, subject to the activation of the German core. You roll it with no DRM, except as listed here. Pretty interesting stuff. Wow, so it's random events by area. Look at that. The 299th Engineering Battalion in Martelange and the 44th Engineering Battalion in Wiltz, if not already released, are free to move. Units, here we go. Support units exhorted. If the US 8th Corps Echelon chooses resting status this turn, the entire 333rd FAG and 8C 687th, yada, 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 may move up to one half their movement. Oh gosh, this is just so groovy. All right. Oh, look at this. A Captain American nurse distracts General Baleen. I love it. Oh, this is going to be epic. Look at all this stuff. By area, by operational area. And it goes on and on. And then we've got, okay, German reinforcements. I'll see if I can angle this down a little bit. Very cool. Note EE. See if we can find that note. The FE brigade ends are adjacent to. Okay, blah blah blah. So we go. Allied reinforcements. Nice paper. So well laid out. This is great. Look at this. Yeah, it's not gonna. This is gonna make life really easy. And in fact, I guess if you were really OCD, you could photocopy all these or copy these, and then in color, of course, or download them in if they're available on PDF, and then print them out, and then set them all up on one side. What do we got going on here? U.S. Army area of operations, a map for the 22 PD 26 EV. See that? Wow. Groovy, groovy, groovy. This is going to take some thinking and some work to... Very cool. All right. Endgame scenario charts. Nobody knows what that means. Okay, so then setup charts. Here we go. So if we want to play a little Race to the Muse, looks like it's a nice little small scenario, perhaps. Maybe not. Battle of Bastogne. Oh, my gosh. Party foul. No one panic. I got it. So there's the Battle of Bastogne forces there. And here. Bunch of scenarios, but it looks like, right? Very cool. All right. That was that. Rules of play, scenario book. I don't think we need to go into too much detail on the scenario book, but you can see that there are a substantial number. So make sure there's no other comments here. If you have questions, try and pop them up. I'll try and answer them if I can. I think one of the things that, so I was in two minds when I walked away from playing this game. Look, here's the scenario booklet. You can just see that there's a bunch of stuff, right? Wow, that's pretty cool. With Bruno there, the gameplay was fast and furious, and you didn't have to know the rules really and look things up, and it became very intuitive very quickly. Now, while playing, I felt like it played similar to Bitter Woods, but at a much finer level, granular level of detail. And that was a good thing because it was a relatively fast player. And what I walked away with was thinking, gee, stuff like this is going to be pretty involved to get your head around and learn all the nuances here of what's going on, just given the scope and size of the game. So it's pretty substantial. Okay, so I think this game's not going to be for everybody, right? For the obvious reasons. And it may be too detailed for some people, or too much of a game for some people. But I wouldn't let that dissuade you necessarily. If you're going to get into a monster game, this might be one that you should consider. Okay, so I'm not going to dig in on unit types and all the rest of it. There's a lot of stuff here, right? So we're just going to flip through these pretty quick. Nice, good quality. They're all set very nicely. They feel good in the hand too, by the way. Not too shiny, even though I've got these bright lights on them. Organization. I'd love to hear how people are going to organize their counters. If you already have this game, it would be interesting to get feedback from you how you're doing it, whether it's by core or division or whatever. I mean, there's a buttload of units here, right? I guess I didn't do any close-ups, did I? There's your little SS boys for all the SS fans out there. Okay. Oops. Easy punch too. Coming out pretty easily. Huh. Yeah, I didn't notice that on. These ones are, now it just doesn't matter. These are printed upside down here. Everywhere else they're right side up. It's interesting. Look, there's those 262s. I don't know if you can see them. There they are there. It's pretty cool. 7 GMT trays by division, core, and army, depending on the unit you psycho. All right, look at all these German guys. Very cool. All right. And only 2 sheets of info markers. I love that. I love that. All right. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to fit the maps out here, but we'll see what we can do. Here's the Liege area. And not taking the piss when I say pronounce the words wrong, okay? All little French and Belgian words. So, northwest. So I'll put that up over there. Nuts. And northeast. Like that. Nice, really nice, nicely done with the mouse. And I think this is gonna, if I remember correctly, this goes here. So it's gonna come a long ways off the side there, I think is how that goes, something like that. I'm gonna fold this edge over here. Yeah, let's just look at the terrain effects chart while I get the next 2 maps out, because it's a 5 mapper, I believe. And then you've got your, so that's, so what happens here is these 3 come across this way. Let me carefully open that one up. Put that here. So for the fanatical folks, we have on the eastern side, Saint Vith, Clairvaux, Martelane, here's Bastogne right there. So you're looking at, I should be able to set this up pretty easy. I'm going to need to get one extra table out. I'm going to imagine, unless the Germans are incredibly successful, you're probably not going to use a lot of this terrain up here anyway. So we can push these up on some plex underneath and on top and sort of hang them off the side. Maybe, we'll see. So that's pretty cool. The artwork is pretty striking. It really does pop out at you. The version I saw, of course, was a play test version, and this is much, much more attractive. 2d6 to make it all happen. And of course, once again, this must be a thing for GMT now. Let's put these little inserts in. So we're not going to need that action. Can go away. Now, chance. These are all numbered 2, but they're four aside. Very nice. Sequence of play in here, mutual player segment. Lots of examples in detail and rules references for each segment in the sequence of play. Movement segment, play aids. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, right? And it's just going to be a matter of being specific about following the sequence of play carefully, checking your rules references, and then making sure you get it right. The movement, depending on the weather and all the rest of it, all that stuff, you'll get super comfortable with quickly. Artillery and the advanced artillery rules are going to take not a lot of work. As I said earlier on, I think the command and supply rules are the ones you're going to have to pay attention to. This is for combat for artillery, bombardments, ground combat procedure. Now, there's a lot of text on this, but it's really not that complicated. It's just I think there's an overabundance of assistance here, right? Let me see, combat. Didn't we already look at one of those? Are there 2 copies of these things? I don't think there are. Oh no, there you go. There are 2 of these. So there's one for each player. I thought there was. So terrain effects on combat first up. So you'll pick that. Then you'll look at your ground combat results. And you will see whether there are step losses to the defender, whether he's retreating 1, 2, 3, or 4 hexes, and how many hits he may take, and all that sort of goodness. And then step loss suffered, AFV step losses suffered by the attacker. So there's your little pain in the ass results that all the Germans hate. And then you're going to go look at the priorities. I'm sorry. There you go. The priorities of those. Okay. Weapon effects on ground combat. Yeah, I just got this today, guys. So super excited. I actually had 4 games arrive today. It was pretty cool. Nebelwerfers. What is this? What am I looking at? Artillery park. Okay, so you're going to have your 5 maps, and you're going to set your artillery up over on one section of the table somewhere. Oh my gosh, there's 4 of those bad boys. And then a play A for the chain of command. So that's nice. I don't think we had this when we played. I don't remember. But that's a nice little summary. And there's the allies on the back, of course. So that's cool. Yeah. So that's a good point there, Nathan. Let's have a look and see. Do the maps go further south than most Bulge games? I'm going to pull. Let's see if we can see over here on the easternmost side, Bitburg, which is typically on there. nice thick paper on these too, by the way. Supply dump here. Whoops. Saint Hubert. And then let me fold this guy out. Trying to be a little more careful because it's all fresh and new. And then all the way down here, right? This looks like it might be. I've not seen some of this before on any of the games I've played, but otherwise the terrain looks pretty standard. So let's see. Well, I think that's although you got your turn track here on the side, turn record track starting December 16th and running all the way through to the 26th. Oh, I don't know that mounted maps would be cool, actually. Whoever said that, I didn't catch that view from the turret. It would be unwieldy. It would be difficult to lay out and find the space for, because you can do some funky things. You can do some foldovers with paper maps, and that the weight would be ridiculous. This is already a substantial box, so I would not be excited about getting these mounted. Or receiving them in a mounted mode. You probably pay $150 or $100 for mounted maps in any case, I imagine, if they offer it. CSS Saipan, good luck with that, sucker. All right, let's see. So I think unless you guys want to see something specific, I'm probably gonna let this guy roll. Hey, John, good to see you, man. How are you doing? Let's roll some dice. That's right, my friend. Yeah, we got, it's like an Aussie club here. We got Nathan and myself. I don't know who else is here. Good to see everybody here anyway. All right, guys. Thought I'd just share that with you. I probably need to go feed kids and all that sort of fun stuff. And we'll look forward to talking more about this game and playing it in the very, very near future. Like I said, this will be my December project, and I'm excited to get the rules read between now and December 16th so that we can get started. Of course, we will be jumping straight into the campaign because, hey, go hard or go home, right? All right, you guys have a fun night. Go roll dice. Ciao.